The late dinner just got arrested, the charge making you gain weight, but did anyone check if it actually did it? This isn't about weak willpower. It's not that you love food too much. That creeping number on the scale, it might not be your fault. The case file opens. Victim you. Suspect that meal at 9 at night. The body detective takes this case. The whole case comes down to one question: is the late dinner the mastermind, or is it being framed? The first piece of evidence comes from a lab in Boston, and it doesn't clear anyone, it tangles the whole case up. First, the familiar accusation, don't eat anything after 8 at night. Everyone's heard it, but where did it even come from? The victim testifies eat late, weight goes up, and the numbers back them. People who eat late really do tend to weigh more. But the detective knows one thing: two suspects at the same scene doesn't prove either one did it. Showing up together isn't evidence. So let's put two suspects on the table. Suspect 1, the clock when you eat. Suspect 2, total calories, how much you eat. The case turns on this: which one is really pushing your weight up? To find out, we follow the food. The body's basic law, first weight, is an in versus out equation. Energy you take in against energy you burn off. On paper, a calorie at 9 at night is no different from a calorie at noon. Heat is heat. The case almost closed right there. But the body isn't a simple furnace. When you eat might still matter, because your body runs on a hidden clock, the circadian rhythm, the machine that decides when you're wired and when you wind down. This clock tunes your hormones, your temperature, how you handle sugar all day long. Morning is one thing, night is another. So the question gets sharper. The exact same meal dropped in at night, does the body handle it differently? The detective pins two suspects up: clock and calories, then pauses. There seems to be a third figure lurking in the shadows. Let's not name the third one yet, leave it in the dark. Now back to that Boston lab where someone actually put this to the test. To interrogate the clock, they set a ruthless trap. Same people, same food, same calories. They changed one thing: the hour they ate. Just 16 people, a small study, but what they found made the clock start sweating. Follow me. In the lab, two eating schedules. The early group ate by day. The late group ate the very same meals, just pushed 4 hours later. Same body, same plate. The only difference was the clock hand. If timing meant nothing, the results should match. They didn't. First clue: the late group felt hungrier all the next day. The "I'm full" signal got turned down. The "I want more" signal got turned up. Second clue: when they ate late, they burned slightly fewer calories at rest. Not by much, but enough to be suspicious. Third clue, the chilling one: their fat tissue shifted mode, leaning towards storing more than burning. So it's clear the clock is not innocent. It has a real record. This suspect is hiding something. But let's take a breath. Just 16 people over a few days in a sealed room. This is a lead, not a verdict yet. Let's step back and look wide. Why would the body do this? The answer lives in circadian biology. Picture it like this: your metabolism runs a day shift and a night shift. The day shift processes food fast, sharp, eager. The night shift is different. The body's prepping to rest. Insulin responds slower. Melatonin rises, whispering, time to sleep. So dropping a big meal into the night shift is like handing the thin, closing crew a sudden rush. They can handle it, but they struggle. Here's the evidence behind it. In the evening, the body handles blood sugar worse than in the morning. Same meal sugar climbs higher. By now, the clock looks pretty guilty, but a good detective never convicts on one witness. There's another clue. The second clue flies in from Spain. A weight loss program, hundreds of people tracked over 20 weeks. Same portions, same calories. One difference: those who ate their main meal late lost weight noticeably slower than the early eaters. Two witnesses, two continents, both pointing at the clock. The case looks closed, but hold on. The catch with the Spanish witness: it's an observation, not a locked-down experiment. It saw two things travel together. It can't prove which caused which. Because who tends to eat late? Usually people who sleep less, snack more, live on a different rhythm. A whole crowd of suspects comes along. And here the third figure steps out of the shadows. Its name, sleep. A heavy, late meal wrecks your sleep. Sleep badly one night, and the next day, the hunger signal turns up, the fullness signal turns down. A tired body begs for more food. See the chain: eat late leads to sleep worse. Sleep worse leads to hungrier, hungrier leads to eat more. A loop. And the quietest fourth accomplice, the extra meal. A late dinner is often not a meal moved, but a meal added. Late at night, tired brain, glowing screen. That's when the hand reaches for chips and chocolate, rarely for a plate of greens. So the late meal often smuggles in extra calories under cover of night. It's not the hour that fattens, it's the amount that rides in with it. The detective pauses. Maybe the clock never acted alone. It was just always there whenever the crime happened. The clue board is packed now. Clock, total calories, sleep, extra meal, all tangled together with red string. But of these four, who's the ringleader? Which one, if removed, makes the whole case collapse? That's the real question. The original accusation pointed only at the clock. Too neat, too easy. Real life is messier than a diet slogan. Honestly, no lab fully captures your real life. Evidence gives us a direction, not a done and dusted verdict. Then one last file drops onto the desk, an experiment that ran a whole year. Its result flips the entire board. The year-long file opens. Not a few days in a sealed room, real people, real kitchens, living their lives for 12 months. Hundreds of people split into two groups. Both cut calories the same. One difference: one group had to squeeze all eating into a daytime window. If the clock is the mastermind, the daytime group should win big. This is the fairest test the clock will ever face. A year passes. The scale is brought out. The whole room holds its breath for the clock's true face to show. The result: both groups lost almost the same amount. The daytime window added almost no difference at all. Wait, didn't the Boston lab just say the clock was guilty? Now the case is contradicting itself. This is where many give up two studies, two opposite conclusions. But a good detective doesn't pick a side, they ask how both can be true. The key is the difference between the two cases. Boston locked calories equal, so it measured the clock's guilt alone. The year-long study let calories run free, so the strongest player, total calories, drowned out the clock's tiny share. Here's the layer peeled back. The clock is guilty but of a small crime. The ringleader always is total calories. Think about it. You can eat dinner at 11 at night and stay lean if you ate little all day. The clock can't rescue an overeating day. Flip it: finish dinner by 6 in the evening, but overeat all day, the weight still climbs. The clock can't save you. So is no eating after 8 wrong? Not exactly. It just fingered the wrong culprit. Right scene, wrong suspect cuffed. Because here's the subtle part: that slogan sometimes does help, just for a different reason than people think. The no eating after 8 rule quietly blocks late-night snacking. You don't win from the timing, you win from skipping that third bag of chips. Put another way, the timing rule is a locked door, not magic. It helps because it makes you eat less, not because of the number on the clock. Here's an honest beat. The science here is far from closed. Studies still argue over how much timing really matters. Some studies say a big breakfast burns better. Others say no difference. Small samples, short timelines, and human lives are complicated. So the detective won't declare timing means nothing, nor eat late guaranteed fat. The truth sits in that uncomfortable middle. So when does the clock actually matter? There are a few cases where it steps up from accomplice toward prime suspect. Case 1: people whose blood sugar is already sensitive. For them, a heavy meal near bedtime pushes sugar higher and holds it longer. Case 2: people prone to reflux and heartburn. Lying down right after a heavy meal sends acid up and ruins sleep too. Case 3, the big one, when a late meal wrecks your sleep. And as we saw, bad sleep drags the whole weight gain chain with it. See it? The clock rarely strikes with its own hands. It usually works indirectly through sleep, through cravings, through the extra meal. That's the suspect's real face, not the one who strikes, but the one who pulls the strings. A middleman, not the killer. Back to the ringleader. Why is total calories so powerful it overrides everything? Because it's the sum of every bite you take all day. The clock only tweaks how a meal is handled. Total calories decides how much there is to handle. That's the power gap. So, if you can only chase one suspect, don't waste energy watching the clock. Count what actually goes into your body all day. But honestly again, counting calories is easier said than done. The body isn't a calculator, and obsessive counting can wear you down until you quit. So this isn't an order to count every calorie, it's a shift in the question. Not, what time is it? Why? But, how much have I eaten today, and am I truly hungry? Let's assemble the whole case. Victim your weight, scene the late dinner. But the mastermind was never the clock hand. Mastermind total calories always at the center. Chief accomplice wrecked sleep. The puppeteer the clock. The smuggler the extra meal. All four work together, often at one moment, late at night. So the late dinner isn't innocent, it just isn't the culprit we imagined. This is the layered truth. Late dinner makes you gain is half right. Right about the setting wrong to pin it all on the timing. Recall the opening charge. The late dinner makes you gain weight. The accurate verdict is the late dinner tends to travel with the ones who do. That's why no eating after 8 is both useful and misleading. Useful when it makes you eat less. Misleading when you think the clock hand is magic. And here's the line: timing matters when it drags in bad sleep cravings or an extra meal. When it drags in none of those, it barely matters. The last honest beat of the investigation, everybody differs. Some people are far more timing sensitive, and science can't yet measure why. So don't let anyone sell you a rigid timing rule as if it fits everyone. Your body has its own voice, and it's worth listening to. The case is nearly closed. We know the mastermind, the puppeteer, the line. Now the part that matters most to you, what to do with all this. Before the prescription, one thing must be said. This is general information, not medical advice. If you have any condition, ask your doctor. This video is general information, not medical advice. Please talk to your doctor for a diagnosis and treatment that fit your situation. Now the prescription: 4 small things. No scare tactics. 1. Don't obsess over the clock hand. Keep an eye on your total for the day. 2. If you snack late often, ask honestly, am I hungry or just bored, tired, stressed? Most late meals are emotional, not needed. 3. Maybe the strongest: protect your sleep. If a heavy late meal leaves you tossing, eat a little lighter and a little earlier, not for the clock, for the sleep. 4. If you have diabetes, pre-diabetes or reflux, for you timing genuinely matters. Let your doctor help you arrange the right window. Notice no prescription tells you to starve or skip dinner. It just hands back your right to understand what your body actually needs. Remember the opening question: late dinner mastermind or framed? Now you can answer. It's an accomplice, not the mastermind. The late dinner walks free on one condition: don't let it bring the gang along. Bad sleep, late cravings, the extra meal. Eat late if you like, just eat aware. Case closed, but the detective leaves you the magnifying glass. Next time a health claim sounds certain, ask who's the real mastermind. The case was closed, then a knock. A viewer steps in. I trust you, detective, but I want to understand, how exactly does the clock whisper to my body? The detective smiles and rises. Good question. The main case is done, but there's a basement we never entered, the forensics lab. Care to join me? Recall what we saw, same meal. The body handles sugar worse in the evening than the morning. In this lab, we'll dissect exactly why. First clue, under the scope as night falls. The body releases melatonin, the time to sleep hormone. Everyone knows it makes us drowsy. Few know what else it does. Here's the surprise: melatonin doesn't only talk to the brain, it also visits the pancreas, where insulin is made to clear sugar from your blood. And when melatonin's around, the pancreas releases insulin more cautiously. The body's prepping for sleep, not eager to process a big meal. Eat right, then sugar clears slowly. Honest beat right here. This is a lab-observed mechanism, but a little slower doesn't mean one late meal harms you. In a healthy person, the body still gets it done. But here's the science just coming to light. Not every body reacts to melatonin the same way, and the story turns to genes. There's a fairly common gene variant that makes the pancreas extra sensitive to melatonin. People who carry it eating close to bedtime see sugar spike far higher than those who don't. Remember our confession. Some people are more timing sensitive, and science can't measure why. This is one piece of that answer slowly taking shape. Don't rush off for a gene test over this. We're nowhere near know your genes, set your mealtime. This is science growing up, not a manual already bound. Leaving the pancreas, second clue. Your body burns calories just digesting. Every time you eat, an inner furnace flickers on. They call it the thermic effect of food. And here's what a few small studies found: the same meal burns more eaten in the morning than in the evening. The daytime furnace runs hotter. Required nuance. A few small studies is not science has settled it. Small samples, modest gaps. A trail worth following, not ironclad proof. But it fits the bigger picture. By day, the body's on active shift, burning hot, processing fast. By night, it switches to saving shift, holding more back. The natural question pops up: so is eat breakfast like a king, dinner like a pauper, right? The detective half nods, partly true, and the true part is smaller than the legend, because the daytime furnace does burn more, but the gap isn't large enough to slim you on its own. You can't dine like a pauper and then ignore your whole day total. See it? We keep circling back to the same ringleader. Every mechanism clue is fascinating, but none dethrones total calories. They just explain how it reigns. So if mechanisms can't change the king, why learn them? Because for one group of people, these small gaps pile up into something big. That group is night shift workers, and this is the heaviest file in the whole basement, where mechanism stops being a small matter. Night workers eat, sleep, and wake against their inner clock. They eat main meals when the body thinks it's the middle of the night, day after day. Large epidemiological studies found something worrying. Long-term night workers have notably higher rates of obesity, metabolic syndrome, and diabetes. This is no longer a small sample. But the biggest nuance here: be fair to night workers. Their whole lives differ: broken sleep, mistimed light stress, little sunlight. You can't blame it all on mealtime. What night work teaches is the extreme lesson force: the body to eat against the clock for years, and the metabolic cost is real. Timing at a high enough dose over long enough carries weight. Here the case's boundary shows clearest for someone living with their clock. An occasional late dinner is nearly harmless. For someone living against it, constantly timing becomes a major health issue. If you must work nights, don't panic. Small things help keep mealtimes as regular as you can, favor lighter meals during the night shift, and guard your daytime sleep like treasure. And here's what night work teaches all of us: mealtime matters more for metabolic health than for the number on the scale. Those two aren't the same thing. Rethink the main case: we hunted the culprit of weight gain. But the lab reveals a parallel case: the culprit of metabolic harm. Same suspects, different charges. For weight, total calories, rules, and timing is just an accomplice. But for metabolic health, blood sugar, insulin, the clock climbs into a much bigger role. Here's the truth fragment most weight loss clips miss asking: does eating late make me fat? Is only half the question. The full one is: fat or blood sugar harm, or both? Now, an unexpected turn in the lab. Not every late meal is a suspect. There's one case where eating late is actually the hero. For people who lift a little slow digesting protein, like the casein in milk before bed, can help muscles recover overnight. This is a late meal with a purpose. The difference is right there: not late eating, good or bad, but eating what for what. A glass of milk for muscle is nothing like half a box of cookies out of boredom. So don't let a rigid, no eating after 8 rob you of a sensible meal. Athletes, hard gainers, people on their own schedules, one blanket rule fits no one perfectly. One hot question left to examine: intermittent fasting, cramming all meals into a narrow window. Is it a metabolic miracle onto the table with it? The candid truth. Much of intermittent fasting's benefit comes because it makes people eat fewer calories. Narrow the window, and it's hard to squeeze extra meals in. The same old ringleader. But, and here's where science argues most fiercely, a few small studies hint that shifting the window toward the morning may improve insulin sensitivity even when weight doesn't change. Maximum honesty, hint is the right word. Samples of just a handful, mostly men short-term. This is first light in the tunnel, not noon sun. Let no one sell it as gospel. So, let the detective sum up the unknown. Fairly mealtime may touch metabolic health beyond weight. We don't yet have enough evidence to promise it. That doesn't leave us helpless. It gives us a smarter way to think. Try eating more by day if it's easy, but don't obsess. Don't skip meals out of fear. Don't sacrifice sleep. We climb up out of the forensics basement. The curious viewer now grasps not just who the culprit is, but how it strikes. That's truly understanding your body. Assemble both layers of the case. For weight, count the total, don't worship the clock. For metabolism, respect the clock, more especially if you already carry risk. The required line again, because it outweighs every tip. This is general information, not medical advice. Conditions, medications, pregnancy, all change the game. Ask your doctor. This video is general information, not medical advice. Please talk to your doctor for a diagnosis and treatment that fit your situation. Upgraded prescription kept short. One for weight, it's still total calories, and sleep, not the clock hand. Fancy mechanisms don't change that foundation. 2, if you carry blood sugar risk or work nights, take timing more seriously and do it with a doctor, not by guessing online. 3, don't fear every late meal. Ask what it is and what it's for. The milk for muscle, drink it. The half box of cookies out of boredom, check in with yourself. 4, carry it for life. When someone sells you an ironclad timing rule, remember this whole basement. Truth has layers, and an honest person tells you which layer is still unknown. Look at the opening question one last time. Late dinner, the culprit of weight gain. Buying. The full answer is clear now. Accomplice for weight, weightier for metabolism, and always depending on who you are. The detective hands back the magnifier, heavier this time, because you can now examine mechanism too. Next time you hear, eat this way, guaranteed good, you'll ask yourself how sure and which layer did they leave out.